So Ruddy, as a PGA golf professional, first thing comes to mind is integrity. I mean, he plays by the rules. He is an aficionado on the rules. That doesn't mean he's always right, but but he thinks he is.
This year, the Utah Senior Open will be honoring Bob Rudd, and as luck would have it, we're with Bob right now. Bob, how did you get into the game of golf?
Well, I was out of college, disillusioned with why I went to college, and was trying to figure out what I was going to do for the rest of my life.
What'd you major in?
Psychology.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I know. Who'd have thunk? So I was going to save the world. And I had a bunch of friends. We were all avid basketball players, and in the summer they quit playing basketball because they were golf nuts. And so they dragged me out one day, and within about 3 rounds I got addicted, because I'm kind of an addictive personality anyway, and that's how I got into golf.
Well, when I think of Bob Rudd, who has been a friend for over 50 years, I think of a great friend, but also the personification of a PGA pro. He was one that always wanted to look professional, act professional, and go about his business.
He's basically become a big brother to me. So he's family. I can trust him. I can bounce things off him when I need some advice. So he's become, kind of a mentor for me. So a couple of Ruddisms: good players always hit it off the heel. Wedges don't matter except for out of the rough.
Just an awesome, funny, great gentleman to be around.
Did you envision at the time that it was going to be your career and you were going to be a professional?
I was killing time for that whole summer, just trying to figure out my next move, but by the end of the summer, man, I was hooked. There was no going back.
And you grew up here in Utah, went to Olympus High School, played what sports?
Tennis team in high school, and played a little basketball and track and a little bit of everything, really. Baseball before that.
But golf never appealed to you in high school?
I didn't know anybody that played golf, so it didn't not appeal to me. It's just I was busy with other sports, so I've always been doing some kind of sport.
So you get done with college, disillusioned, into golf. When did you decide, hey, I can do this for a living?
Let's see, how's the best way to... I was a golf bum for several years,
okay,
and had envisioned, like most people that have got some semi-talent and a lot of drive, one day I would be a professional. And of course, when you're in your young 20s and you've got to fend for yourself and you got to pay rent, you got to have a job, you got no resources and no time, that takes a while for the slow-witted to kind of catch on. And so then I thought, well, maybe I could be a club pro, and that's kind of how it worked out.
Who did you look up to at that time as club pros that you might want to emulate?
Well, really, the only one I knew was Dick Kramer,
yeah,
because I played virtually every day at Bonneville. I went like a religious fanatic. I was there every day with a group of guys, and he was always behind the counter or someplace in the shop, or outside just picking up trash, making it look nice outside and things like that. And it looked to me like he had a pretty good life. And he'd drive into work in his Cadillac, and I thought, okay, well, I can't keep pursuing this playing thing. Maybe I'll be a club pro, because this looks pretty good. And so he was really the only guy I had contact with. Well, Tommy Reese. Those two guys, one of them was always behind the counter, and Mr. Friendly. And so I thought that'd be a good way to go.
Two good guys to emulate. Did you join the section right away? When you got the job as the assistant pro, or go through the program?
I joined the apprentice program in 1975, and now
okay,
I played for about 5 years from the time I first started playing. And I got a job. I was actually recruited to work at Stansbury Park, and in the winter I got a job in Palm Springs. So I went back and forth for a long time, 5 years. So all your belongings have to fit in your car. Luckily, I was single. So, and that gets kind of tiresome. So after 5 years, I quit going down to Palm Springs and stayed up here. But it took me, I think, 7 years to go through the schools. I wasn't fully committed. So I became a member, I think, in 81 or 82.
So the first time I met Bob was, I was still in high school and he was working at Stansbury Park, and I grew up in Tooele. So I would go down there and play and practice, and then I got to know Bob and would play in the money games down there. He would brag about not having to stop for gas driving to St. George, but we'd have to stop 3 times for him to pee.
I met Bob back when I was a college student at the University of Utah and working at the Bonneville Golf Course. Bob was a brash, young athlete who took up golf late, but you could tell from just meeting him early on that he wanted to become the best golfer that he could become. So I started playing in golf games with him, wanting to beat him just as much as he wanted to beat me. We struck up a good friendship. I have a history of collecting kind of characters for friends, and Bob Rudd was indeed a character. We played Torrey Pines every day for 2.5, 3 months, and it was an extremely hard course. We were young and strong and long and stupid, but we played the tips every day. We had a bonus if someone were to break par or even shoot in the 60s, heaven forbid, they got a bonus. Well, we came close a few times, but Bob came the closest. One day he was 4 or 5 under after 5 holes, and looked like he was going to collect the bonus for the best round. Well, he subsequently bogeyed and double bogeyed, and after the 17th hole, when he made a bogey to go a couple over par, he knew he had lost that chance. And Bob had this incredible talent that he could throw up a ball and hit it with his putter, 100 to 200 yards. Well, this time he threw it up, took a big swing, and all we heard was this thunk. And we looked up to see the ball, but there was no ball. Instead, we looked, and Bob was staggering around, and the ball had hit him right between the eyes. And the 3 of us fell down laughing so hard. And Bob, to his credit, never made a sound, never cried out, never complained. But as this big lump and dimpled mass appeared on his forehead and blood ran down his nose into his face, he simply put his towel over the mess of his face and put the clubs over his shoulder and dragged himself back to the clubhouse. Bob's been a great friend. We play golf on a weekly basis, and he's been a dear friend for decades.
The Park City Open, he had just turned 50. I was 52 at the time, so we were both playing in the geezer flight. And for 35 holes, he had never missed a fairway, maybe missed 1 green, and had me by 1 shot. And then, as a true gentleman, taking care of his guests and visitors and acknowledging his elders, he proceeded to knock his tee shot into the condos. His next shot after that, later on, he knocked it in the water. I can't remember if he made an 8, a 9, or a 10, but he let me win the tournament. And there again, I knew I was going to like that guy.
One time at Park City Muni, he wanted to give a group a 2-shot penalty for going in and putting their rain gear on.
Were you teaching a lot or just working behind the counter?
Well, as most assistants can tell you, you work at least 50 hours if you're an assistant. And in Palm Springs, the choice was, okay, on my 1 day off, I can either give some lessons and eat better, or I can go play. And I just love to play so much that I would usually go play and maybe give 1 or 2 lessons. And then back here, I started teaching a little bit more because the days are so much longer. I mean, you got 12, you're going to work an 8-hour shift, probably maybe 9 hours, but you still got time early in the morning to go tee it up or late in the afternoon to go tee it up. So I played quite a bit more and taught a little bit more, but I've never had the kind of job where like you could play every day without suffering economically, you know, because again, you got to pay the rent and all that stuff. So I taught a little bit more as time went on, but I never played as much as I wanted to, and I still don't, and obviously never will, but...
Who does?
Not that much teaching, but I did a couple of years. I taught a lot when I was assistant at Park City, and that's about the only time I really taught a lot.
How good were you? Did you win tournaments when you were playing?
I would win occasionally some little one-day things that were not important tournaments, and that's about all. I wasn't, frankly, my swing wasn't good enough to win a multi-day event.
Really?
I'd hit too many, I could hit it a long ways, and any given shot I could hit great, but in 18 holes I was going to pump at least one or two into the deep timber someplace. So I kind of eliminated myself. And then in my late 40s, I finally got smart enough to fix my swing, or had enough knowledge at that point to fix it, and then I started winning. So, but not until 50.
So I ran into you early in my career up at Park City, but I remember you mostly from Central Valley Golf the Round when you were there. Where else have you worked as a professional?
Boy, all over. Interestingly, except for a military course, I've been the head professional at every classification of course there is. 9-hole executive, 18-hole muni, 18-hole resort, all the way up to a private club, and then a Pete Dye Stadium golf course complete with a senior tour event. So
nice.
I've kind of come full circle.
What were some of your favorite places to work?
Park City by far.
Yeah, really.
That was my all-time favorite job. I love the people, I love the atmosphere. It was, I could have stayed there forever. I liked Castle Rock just because of the golf course. It was a fabulous golf course, but Park City is far and away my favorite.
We've been paired together at the Utah Senior Open and the Utah PGA Section Championship out in Wendover almost every round. Certainly every first round and almost every round thereafter. And just his good sportsmanship, his professionalism, his humor, his use of unique items, like he would show up with little spray bottles if it was too hot, spray everybody in the foursome. He had his little fans, he would fan you off. Also, during certain times, he would have the yips, both chipping and putting. I've never seen anybody handle it better and turn it around faster. He could yip 1-foot putts for 3 or 4 holes in a row, look totally uncomfortable, and then all of a sudden stand up over the ball with his long putter, look perfect, Drano, 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 right back in contention for the golf tournament. He was just a joy to play golf with. Bob, congratulations on a well-deserved honor. You deserve this. I'm looking forward to our next Emergency 9. You're the man.
He loves the game of golf. He's good to be around, and he's fun, and he's a very top-notch golf professional, and he treats everybody with respect. The one thing that kind of tied me and him together is he doesn't get upset. It's hard to tell if he's playing good or bad, and that's a quality I've always enjoyed in people.
Aiming oil means a shot of tequila. He's one of the few guys that would give me health advice while he's smoking a cigarette.
What's your philosophy? What keeps you going?
Having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I still play pretty good, and I occasionally play really well, but it's,
You did well at the Mel Duke Utah Senior Open, didn't you?
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to win anything anybody cares about at this stage, you know, so you might as well have fun. And I've had a couple of brushes with things that made me think I might not ever play again, and so I'm just happy to be out there, even if it's hacking. You can always needle your buddies no matter how you're playing, so that's what's fun.
I heard a story about you.
Uh-oh.
Involved Randy Dotson, that he hit a bad shot and was kind of grousing, complaining about it, and you just stared at him and went, "You're still a good guy." And to me, that kind of symbolizes you, right? I mean, you're just like, hey, we're out here having fun and just
Yeah.
enjoy the moment. And
Yeah.
that's kind of you, isn't it?
I hope so. I hope I don't take myself too seriously.
Well, we think you're a good guy, and this honor is well-deserved. Are you humbled by it? I mean,
Very much.
look at the list of people that have been honored so far.
Very, very much. I'm not sure I fit anywhere near that category, but I'm very grateful, very honored.
Congratulations, Bob. We're proud of you.